Welcome to the Commons. This is Cindy Russell-Albach, your librarian, and I wanted to share with you a teaching tip or resource for teachers today. This particular resource, I think, works well for teachers, parents, and students. It is a website that I use extensively when I was doing some work with the English 2 cohort, and when we were looking at social media and AI, as well as digital literacy. And it occurred to me that this is an area that spans across a lot of our different departments. And so I thought it might be helpful to share it with all of you. Common Sense Media is a website that has extensive resources for all of us. I'm going to go ahead and go to that link. It has digital citizenship. It has a lot of information on how to work with students with AI, how to teach them how to use it ethically and correctly. It has a lot on cyberbullying, how to protect yourself digitally, as well as information on books and movies and reviews and that sort of thing. One of the things that you might find interesting is that it has a lot about the cell phone ban. So that might be something that, as students bring it up, it might be something that would be interesting to go over with them. It has classroom tools that use AI and then AI literacy lessons, and it does do grades 6 through 12. I know that some middle school librarians are using that with the middle school, so I think it's something that you might want to pick up as you are working with students and while they are trying to navigate that new world of artificial intelligence, what is allowed to be used, how to use it ethically. College Board in when they are looking at the research and writing courses in AP Seminar and AP Research, they encourage and actually expect teachers to go over how to use artificial intelligence ethically. And so it is here to stay. So it is something that would work well to go over and to help students know how to use it correctly as opposed to trying to prevent them from using it at all. We use it every time we make a Google search, every time you text a friend and it finishes the word, or an email and it finishes the word, or checks your grammar. So it's something that we are all using. It's just a matter of knowing how to use it ethically and knowing how to teach others how to use it ethically. For this one, I thought what I would show you is some information on algorithms and some information on how artificial intelligence gathers information on students. This is something that we specifically went over with the English 2 students, but I think it's something that is relevant to all of our students. I know that digital literacy and social media is something that we go over in a lot of different uh, departments, and so I thought, oh, this would be something great to share with all of you. Um, we know that artificial intelligence is constantly gathering data and constantly looking at and tailoring what we see online. But I think that it helps all of us, and it would certainly help our students to understand how much of an influence it has on us and on what we see online. Um, so the essential question for this brief lesson is looking at how much or how does artificial intelligence influence what we see online. Um, they're going to look at recommendation algorithms, understanding how recommendation algorithms are trained and how they make decisions, and reflect on how algorithmic content can shape our online experiences and what we value. What's beautiful about this particular lesson is that I think it would work in a marketing or business lesson as well as in a political science or history lesson. Um, what usually happens after you finish watching a video on YouTube or right when you open a TikTok? And how are these apps so good at feeding you what you want to see? Social media platforms, including YouTube's, use recommendation algorithms, which are a type of artificial intelligence to curate content for us. Uh, some of the key vocabulary that this lesson goes over is artificial intelligence, a computer program that can perform tasks that are typically require human intelligence. A recommendation algorithm is a type of artificial intelligence that decides what content to show or curate for someone. We're going to watch a video that explains how a recommendation algorithm work and how they can influence what we think or do. Now, rather than have you show that, this is one of those areas where if you want, you could expand your lesson to students um, and understand more about how this works. So it's one of those things where I think what's lovely is that you can either expand it to a 20-minute lesson or keep it short to a 5-minute lesson. Um, Social media does love to use these recommendation algorithms, and we all know that instinctively. It's how they know what you want to shop for, it's how they show you the next thing that is similar. But it's also that danger point, and that's the thing that I think students need to know most. So, how do recommendation algorithms work? They're trained on data like the things we watch, click, like, comment on, and share online to make predictions to serve us the content they think we'll like. Um, One thing that students were really surprised about that I think helps them to understand it is it's not only what we watch or click on, but how long we stay there. So if you are staying on something for 10 seconds versus 1 second, that is part of the data that they use. They also like to consider what everyone else is liking and watching too. So if other people that are similar to you or like similar things to you, that is how they'll introduce new content to you. Tech companies like to keep their algorithms top secret, so it's hard to know exactly why they work the way they do, and they are constantly changing. Uh, so why do social media apps use recommendation algorithms? Well, content online is pretty much endless. So recommendation algorithms do filter the content and help us show us what's most relevant to us. None of us want to look at everything that is possible online. And so to some extent, we need the recommendation algorithms. The problem is that they do show or convey their bias when they show us what they think we'd like to see. The main goal for these companies is that they want us to keep using the app for as long as possible. They want doom scrolling. And so they will show us more ads because they make more money with those ads. So the idea is how do we keep you looking, clicking, rolling through their app as long as possible? Um, then we talk to more about what's dangerous or harmful for students about these algorithms. And the big danger is the idea of the echo chamber, which often has misinformation and can even show extreme or harmful content. Um, we talked about with the students about tips from the video or their own experiences online and about those echo chambers. When they came into the library, we even showed examples of my own echo chambers. We showed them how Bing, which is what Charleston County schools are pushing towards them for their search engine, and how the Bing algorithm came up with one artificial intelligent response to a search, and how Google came up with a different response, and how they used different sources for those responses. Once we did that, we also showed them the bias in what they selected for those choices. Um, and finally, kind of that echo chamber effect, how Google had used sources that I often had used in their top 2 to 3 pages versus Bing. The other thing that we kind of wanted them to see and notice about the two things is how many ads or sponsored results were in those first things of Google or in Bing. And so what the students were realizing is that a lot of times those initial searches for research are actually sponsored ads, and so they are not reliable research. Um, that was part of what we were really trying to convey to the students as part of our research unit, but I think it's something that is worthwhile in almost every area of study. So it's just something to think about as you are looking at and wanting students to look at what they're getting. Um, that, of course, filters into this concept of wanting to really think critically about information and not just taking what they see online and taking it as truth. Uh, This common sense education, it is all about thriving in that digital world, but I think it is something that is hugely helpful. I hope that you found this little tip really helpful and this development and new resource helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. Um, Again, it's Cindy Russell Allback down in the library. Come see me in the comments.